Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of lies. We've all told a lie and been lied to. It's a universal experience that can leave us feeling confused or betrayed. How often do you question someone's honesty? Maybe it's a coworker or a friend. We're bombarded with information. It's hard to separate fact from fiction. We'll uncover why people lie and how to spot it. By the end, you'll understand deception better. Ready to become a human lie detector? Keep watching. Let's face it, lies are everywhere. From the little white lies we tell to spare someone's feelings to the more serious deceptions that can have devastating consequences, lying is an ingrained part of the human experience. But why? Why do we lie? The truth is, lying is often a defense mechanism. It's a way to protect ourselves, our interests, or even our image. Think about a time when you told a lie. Were you trying to avoid punishment? Did you want to impress someone? Or were you simply trying to get out of an uncomfortable situation? We all have our reasons, and understanding these motivations is crucial to recognizing when someone is being dishonest with us. In the next section, we'll delve deeper into the psychology of lying, exploring the different types of lies and the reasons behind them. Now you might be thinking, why do I need to learn how to spot a liar? I'm a good judge of character. And while that may be true, the reality is that even the most perceptive among us can be fooled by a skilled liar. Learning to spot deception isn't about becoming suspicious of everyone we meet. It's about arming ourselves with the knowledge and tools to protect ourselves from manipulation and deceit. It's about becoming more aware of the subtle cues and signals that often betray a liar's true intentions. Whether you're negotiating a business deal, navigating a personal relationship, or simply trying to make sense of the world around you, the ability to detect deception can be an invaluable asset. It allows you to make informed decisions, protect yourself from harm, and build stronger, more authentic connections with others. So, let's embark on this journey together and uncover the secrets to spotting a liar instantly. At its core, lying is often about survival. Just like animals use camouflage to blend in or play dead to avoid predators, humans have developed elaborate ways to navigate threats in their social environments. And sometimes, that means bending the truth. Think about it. Our ancestors lived in a world full of danger, where a wrong answer or a careless disclosure could mean the difference between life and death. Over time, the ability to conceal information or even fabricate stories became a valuable tool for survival, passed down through generations. Even today, when our lives aren't typically on the line, that primal instinct to protect ourselves remains deeply ingrained. We might lie to avoid a confrontation, to safeguard our reputation, or to prevent hurting someone's feelings. While the stakes might be lower, the underlying motivation often stems from that same ancient urge to protect ourselves. The many faces of deception, from white lies to pathological liars. It's important to remember that not all lies are created equal. We've all been guilty of telling a white lie, those little fibs we tell to avoid conflict or spare someone's feelings. Maybe you've complimented a friend's haircut even though you weren't a fan, or pretended to be busy to get out of an unwanted social obligation. These types of lies are generally considered harmless and even socially acceptable to some extent. They're about smoothing social interactions and maintaining harmony, rather than causing harm. However, there's a darker side to deception, one where lies are used for personal gain, manipulation, and even cruelty. We've all encountered those who seem to lie habitually, often without any clear motive. These individuals, sometimes referred to as pathological liars, often struggle with a compulsive need to fabricate stories and embellish the truth, even when it offers no obvious benefit. Understanding the difference between these various forms of deception is crucial to developing a nuanced understanding of why people lie. The stakes. When lies have serious consequences. While some lies might seem trivial, others can have devastating impacts on our lives, relationships, and even society as a whole. Think about the damage inflicted by financial fraud, political corruption, or even infidelity within a relationship. In these situations, lies erode trust, shatter foundations, and can leave lasting scars. They can lead to financial ruin, emotional distress, and even physical harm. The consequences of deception can reverberate far beyond the initial act, impacting families, communities, and entire systems. Recognizing the potential fallout from dishonesty underscores the importance of developing the skills to detect and address it. By learning to spot the signs of deception, we empower ourselves to make informed decisions, protect our well-being, and hold others accountable for their actions. The power of trust. Why honesty matters. In a world where we're constantly bombarded with information and uncertainty, trust becomes an even more precious commodity. It's the foundation upon which our relationships are built, the glue that holds communities together, and the currency of genuine human connection. Honesty fosters open communication, mutual respect, and a sense of safety and security. It allows us to be vulnerable with one another, to build meaningful connections, and to navigate the complexities of life with confidence and authenticity. When we prioritize honesty, both in ourselves and in our interactions with others, we create a more transparent, accountable, and ultimately, more fulfilling way of life. So, as we delve deeper into the art of lie detection, let's remember that our ultimate goal is to cultivate a world where trust prevails and where honesty serves as the guiding principle in all our interactions. Let's talk about what happens inside our brains when we lie. It all starts with the amygdala, our brain's built-in alarm system. This tiny, almond-shaped structure is responsible for processing emotions, especially fear and stress. When we lie, our amygdala goes into overdrive. Why? Because lying is inherently risky. We worry about getting caught, facing consequences, and damaging our reputation. This triggers a cascade of physiological responses that we often can't consciously control. Think about a time you told a lie, even a small one. Did you feel your heart race? Did your palms sweat? Maybe you got a lump in your throat. These are all telltale signs of the amygdala sounding the alarm, even if we try to appear calm, cool, and collected on the outside. Now, imagine trying to maintain a lie while your brain is in this heightened state of alert. It's exhausting. Lying is actually a lot more mentally taxing than telling the truth. When we tell the truth, we can simply recount events as they happened. But when we lie, we have to create a whole new reality, remembering fabricated details and making sure our story remains consistent. This puts a huge strain on our cognitive resources. As a result, liars often exhibit signs of cognitive overload. They might pause more frequently, struggle to recall details, or give overly simplistic explanations. They might also contradict themselves, change their story over time, or overcompensate by providing too much unnecessary information. Here's the thing about lying. It's not just our brains that betray us, it's our bodies too. While we can try to control our words and expressions, our nonverbal communication often tells a different story. This is what's known as leakage, those subtle, often unconscious cues that leak out and reveal our true feelings. These cues can manifest in our facial expressions, body language, tone of voice, and even our choice of words. For example, a liar might try to force a smile, but their eyes will often betray their true emotions. They might fidget, touch their face excessively, or avoid direct eye contact. Their voice might become higher-pitched, shaky, or hesitant, and their words might be filled with qualifiers, hedges, and distancing language. Section 4. The Baseline Technique, your secret weapon for spotting deception. So how can we use this knowledge to spot a liar in real time? One of the most effective techniques is called baseline observation. It's like having your own personal lie detector test, and it all starts with paying attention. The key is to establish a baseline of the person's normal behavior when they're relaxed and telling the truth. Observe their typical body language, tone of voice, and patterns of speech. How animated are they? How much eye contact do they make? How do they respond to questions they're comfortable answering? Once you have a baseline, look for any significant deviations from that norm when the stakes are higher, or when you suspect they might be lying. Do they suddenly become more reserved or overly animated? Do they start avoiding eye contact or touching their face more frequently? These deviations can be telltale signs that something is amiss. Section 5, Case Studies, Real-World Examples of Lies Unmasked. To bring this all together, let's look at some real-world examples of how these techniques have been used to expose deception. Take the case of Susan Smith, who tragically claimed her 2 young sons had been kidnapped by a carjacker in 1994. Her emotional pleas on national television captivated the nation. However, investigators noticed inconsistencies in her story and subtle nonverbal cues that raised red flags. For example, she would often touch her face and break eye contact when recounting key details. Further investigation ultimately revealed that Smith had fabricated the entire story, and she was later convicted of murdering her own children. This case highlights the importance of paying attention to both verbal and nonverbal cues, even in the face of seemingly genuine emotion. Section 1. The Eyes Have It, Decoding Microexpressions and Gaze Aversion. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul, and that couldn't be truer when it comes to spotting a liar. Our eyes are incredibly expressive, and even the most fleeting expressions can betray our true feelings. Microexpressions are split-second flashes of emotion that reveal true feelings. Liars might mask emotions, but microexpressions can leak through. Increased blink rate or pupil constriction can be signs. Gaze aversion is another telltale sign. Sudden or prolonged shifts in gaze can be red flags. Section 2. The Language of Lies, Verbal Cues that Give Away Deception. Now let's tune our ears to the language of lies. Just as our bodies betray us through nonverbal cues, our words can also reveal more than we intend. Liars often use specific language patterns and verbal strategies to distance themselves from their lies, create an illusion of credibility, or simply buy themselves time to think. One common tactic is the use of distancing language. Instead of saying "I didn't do it," a liar might say "I would never do such a thing," or "That's not something I would ever consider." By distancing themselves from the accusation, they hope to create a psychological buffer and make their denial seem more convincing. Another red flag is the overuse of qualifiers, hedges, and vague language. Liars often pepper their speech with phrases like, "to the best of my knowledge as far as I remember," or "I think that's what happened." This vagueness allows them to avoid committing to specifics and provides them with an escape hatch if their story is later challenged. Section 3, Body Language Bonanza, Unmasking Deception Through Nonverbals. Remember, it's not just what someone says but how they say it. Our bodies are constantly communicating, often subconsciously, and these nonverbal cues can be a goldmine of information when trying to spot a liar. One of the most reliable indicators of deception is incongruence between verbal and nonverbal communication. For example, a liar might say "I'm so happy for you" with a forced smile, while their body language screams discomfort. They might clench their jaw, fidget with their clothing, or even subtly lean away from the person they're trying to deceive. Another telltale sign is an increase in self-soothing gestures. When we're stressed or anxious, we often unconsciously touch our faces, rub our arms, or play with our hair as a way to calm our nerves. Liars often exhibit these behaviors as their bodies betray their internal turmoil. Section 4. Cultural Considerations, Navigating Different Norms and Expectations. Now, it's important to note that body language and communication styles can vary significantly across cultures. What might be considered a sign of deception in one culture could be perfectly normal behavior in another. For example, in some cultures, avoiding direct eye contact is a sign of respect, while in others, it's seen as a sign of dishonesty. Similarly, certain gestures or expressions that are considered rude or offensive in one culture might be perfectly acceptable in another. Therefore, it's crucial to be mindful of these cultural differences and to avoid making snap judgments based solely on nonverbal cues. When in doubt, it's always best to err on the side of caution and to consider the context of the situation before jumping to conclusions. Section 5. Building your Deception Detection Toolkit. Practice makes perfect. Congratulations. You've now been introduced to a powerful set of tools and techniques for spotting deception. But just like any skill, becoming a human lie detector takes practice. The more you pay attention to people's verbal and nonverbal cues, the better you'll become at recognizing the subtle signs of dishonesty. Start by observing people in everyday situations. Pay attention to their baseline behavior, their facial expressions, their body language, and their choice of words. Notice how these cues change in different contexts, when they're relaxed versus when they're under stress, or when they're being truthful versus when they might be hiding something. As you become more attuned to these subtle signals, you'll start to develop an intuitive sense of when something isn't quite right. Remember, becoming a human lie detector isn't about becoming suspicious of everyone you meet. It's about developing a keener awareness of human behavior and using that knowledge to navigate a complex world with greater confidence and discernment. Section 1. Trust your gut, intuition as a powerful lie detector. We often talk about having a gut feeling for a reason. It's that deep-seated intuition, that little voice inside that whispers, something's not right here. While we don't want to jump to conclusions based solely on intuition, it's important to acknowledge that our subconscious minds are incredibly adept at picking up on subtle cues that our conscious minds might miss. Think about it. We've been reading people's faces and body language since infancy. We've developed a lifetime of experience in deciphering subtle social cues, even if we haven't consciously labeled them. So, when something feels off, when someone's words don't align with their body language or tone of voice, pay attention. Your intuition might be onto something. Of course, intuition alone isn't foolproof. It's essential to combine it with the other techniques we've discussed, observing nonverbal cues, analyzing language patterns, and considering the context of the situation. But when your gut tells you something's amiss, it's a signal to dig deeper, ask more questions, and trust your instincts. Sometimes the best way to catch a liar is to simply ask the right questions. By framing questions strategically, we can elicit revealing responses, expose inconsistencies in someone's story, and ultimately, get closer to the truth. One effective technique is to ask open-ended questions that encourage the person to elaborate and provide details. Instead of asking, "Did you take the money?" which invites a simple yes or no answer, try asking, "What happened to the money that was missing?" Open-ended questions force the person to think on their feet and provide more information, which can reveal inconsistencies or contradictions. Another useful tactic is to ask unexpected or seemingly irrelevant questions. Liars often rehearse their stories and prepare for anticipated questions. But when caught off guard by an unexpected query, they might stumble, hesitate, or reveal information they hadn't intended to share. Imagine you're investigating a theft, and you confront a suspect with a piece of evidence, say, a security camera footage that places them at the scene of the crime. How do they react? A guilty person might become defensive, deny the evidence outright, or try to explain it away with a far-fetched excuse. They might also exhibit physiological signs of stress, such as increased sweating, rapid breathing, or fidgeting. On the other hand, an innocent person is more likely to remain calm and composed. They might express surprise or confusion, but they won't resort to outright denials or elaborate fabrications. They'll be more likely to cooperate with the investigation and provide logical explanations. Learning to spot a liar isn't about becoming cynical or distrustful of everyone we meet. It's about empowering ourselves to navigate a complex world with greater awareness, discernment, and self-protection. When we develop the skills to detect deception, we're better equipped to set healthy boundaries, protect ourselves from manipulation, and make informed decisions that align with our values. We can choose to disengage from toxic relationships, avoid scams and fraudulent schemes, and surround ourselves with people we can trust. Remember, seeking truth and honesty is an ongoing process. It requires us to stay vigilant, to trust our instincts, and to never stop asking questions. In a world where deception can have real-world consequences, the ability to spot a liar can be an invaluable tool for navigating the complexities of human interaction and creating a more honest and authentic life. And there you have it, folks. We've journeyed through the fascinating world of lies, exploring the reasons behind deception, the psychology that fuels it, and the telltale signs that can betray even the most skilled liar. Understanding deception gives you an edge to navigate tricky situations and make informed decisions. It's about sharpening your observation skills, trusting your gut, and asking the right questions. Stay curious, and never underestimate the power of truth. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more insightful content, and share this video with your friends. Let's start a conversation in the comments below. What's the most common lie you've encountered, and how did you spot it? Until next time, stay sharp.